because I feel like for me, I love that sport, but I also know that I'm a cisgender white gay man. That that is completely different than someone who is transgender or gender nonconforming, who feel like I don't feel like I belong. And I know that like seeing the Seattle Kraken and they haven't even hit the ice, but seeing their front office staff and who they're hiring gets me so excited because I think I saw that they hired Chanel as their disability consultant. I was like, big win for the disability community. Like, I don't care what disability someone has, if someone sits there and sees that, I know for myself, I feel better. My name is Robbie. I am 24 years old and I'm currently living in the beautiful state of Arizona. I spent the majority of my life until the last 5 years in Chicago, Illinois. So you have all the classic sports. You have the White Sox, you have the Blackhawks, you have the Cubs, and you have the Chicago Bears. So I've been pretty used to like perpetual disappointment for sports. We've had some successes, but I'm a Bears fan, so perpetual disappointment has like been like a resume builder of a trait. So yeah, and up until the last 5 years living here in Phoenix, I've been a Chicago native.
I think with the lack of success of the Bears, I would just quit watching football, but that's just me. How did Robbie get into hockey?
So for one, I'm on autism spectrum. So growing up as a kid, I I knew of sports, but I always had a hard time focusing, especially when I was younger. So getting into sports really didn't happen for me until I think I was 19. I went to a college hockey game, and that's when it just clicked. I'm like, wait, short spurts, so I don't have to focus for far too long, and it's super quick. There's fighting, there's blood, on it's quick and it's on the ice. There's this anticipation that I was like, oh wait, this is like I get it now. This is why people watch. And I was like, wait, I'm a fan. Like this is so cool. But yeah, I just love the game. I love being able to sit there and because anything can happen within a 20-minute increment of a period. And that I was sold.
You sort of just answered it, but what do you love about it?
I think one with what I also had said, but I think the community that builds and going to a game and just being able to shout out whatever else is going on in my outside life and knowing the fact that for whatever this amount of time I'm going to watch a sport I enjoy. And also walking to the arena or the rink and that onset of knowing the fact like, oh, the rink's on because it's cold and you have your sweatshirt or jersey on. And it's just that anticipation of the game. And then it's the penalty calls, whether you agree with it or you don't agree, and just all the stuff that comes to watching that, especially if it's in person. It's just, yeah, I could go on for all the reasons why I love hockey, but those are some of my main ones.
Based off your intersection of identities, how could hockey be better for you? And also, how could it be better for the queer community as a whole?
I think for me, is being able to just reaching out to those intersectional communities and just being able to promote it. I just know for me, I don't know if as a kid that I would have been able to immediately latch onto it because of my attention deficit issues. However, I do believe that if we introduce these things to people young, because for me growing up, one, I knew that one being on a spectrum, I legit can't play sports. My whole entire coordination is shot. So I always felt like if I didn't say I didn't play sports, there's automatically like, well, of course, because you're gay, which I knew I was gay. I'm autistic, so like I can't play sports. I'm a runner. Those are the few things that I do. So there's always this sense of if I like, and it's like my own internalized thing that was going on in my head. But I feel like with these teams should be able to get involved with the local LGBTQIA plus centers. And to me, I think it's simple. You get to know the staff, you get to know the youth who are there. And like that's the first step. Attending programs is like the second. And then hopefully getting these individuals in the stands. So like it's like the three-step process. Like some of these people who are either on the ice or behind the scenes, and then you get to see them on the ice and you make that connection because they may know that person. And I know it sounds super simple, but I feel like those things that make lasting impacts on a youth or a young adult, depending on where they are in their life. Because I feel like for me, I love that sport, but I also know that I'm a cisgender white gay man. That that is completely different than someone who is transgender or gender nonconforming, who feel like I don't feel like I belong. And I know that like seeing the Seattle Kraken and they haven't even hit the ice, but seeing their front office staff and who they're hiring gets me so excited because I think I saw that they hired Chanel as their disability consultant. I was like, big win for the disability community. Like, I don't care what disability someone has, if someone sits there and sees that, I know for myself, I feel better.
Totally. And Chanel's one of my favorite people in the world. And I think her role is intersectionality consultant, but I mean, she's going to be pushing hard for, people with disabilities and really doing her best to ensure it's inclusive of an environment and a safe environment for everyone. So I love that. That's so good. Knowing where it's at, what keeps you in hockey?
I feel like if we want to see the change, whether if you're on inside, if you're on the outside, just keeping being involved because I look at the Black Girl Hockey Club and I just sit there and I see, can I go to a game with them because they seem so cool and so much fun. And I just feel like if you're a minority, you stand with minorities. Like that's feel like you're stronger in numbers. So I feel like for me, for the LGBTQIA plus community, there's that aspect of if you want to be involved, whether you're at a stand or in the front office, you have to keep on pushing because you may be one person, but whatever I could choose to do will impact someone else coming in or joining that person because again, stronger in numbers. And I've seen so many different people who are in the LGBT community working in hockey or working in sports in general and seeing that just further proves my point of why we need to keep on doing what we're doing because if we don't, then who else is going to?
Couldn't agree more. What gives you hope for queer people in the sport moving forward?
That I feel like we're at a point where we can start having these conversations of being inclusive. There's obviously more work to be done, but I feel like there's more and more of us that are coming in that are wanting to start the conversation and break that glass ceiling some more. And I really do believe that's why going forward as a sport that the NHL should start listening to us because we are some you're actively paying people to go into these sports and wanting to play and watch their sports.
I agree fully. You're bang on. Robbie, is there anything you'd like to add?
That I really just feel that I really do hope that we're ready for a gay player to come out. I think seeing Carl Nazib come out for the Raiders, was it last week? It feels like a month already. It was a week, but just seeing that just reaffirmed of I know what I know I'm passionate about is if we keep on pushing forward, it will happen eventually. And again, voices are stronger in numbers. And I just hope that people who are allies see that we want to push through and allies are so important for that.
Robbie, I want to thank you. And I want to say, being a member of this space, being a member of the queer community, and then also being a member of this space is really important. Taking up space within these sports, especially men's team sports spaces, is really important. And being unapologetically yourself and sharing so much of yourself matters. I'm grateful to you for doing this. I appreciate you and thank you.
Thank you.